Okay, here I am continuing the problem in the paint so that I can show you how the process will be allocated in the Gantt charts. Okay, so the problem, it's a continuation, please concentrate. So what I do is, first I will take up one rectangular box. Okay, so now at 0th time, so let me take here the pencil and some color. So here I write a 0th time. So 0th time, who will enter 0th time? Here you can see arrival. So only one process will come. His name is process 1. I hope it is clear now. Okay, so please, I mentioned here like this. This is a x-axis and this is a y-axis. So in y-axis no function, in x-axis it's a time function. Okay, so it's a time function. So what happens here, let me write this as a 0th. Okay, so I'll take this and clear this line. Okay, here what I write is y-axis. Okay, now why should not I am allowed to continue P1 till its end? Because the work is shortest remaining. So once I execute P1, once I allocate P1, I should not continue if there is a allocation of next. So here is time number 1, time number 2, 3, etc. Okay, like this it is. So here, so like this, P3, then P4. Okay, this is my assumption. So I have allocated P1 for how much time? 1 time. So what is its remaining time? 8 minus 1 is what? 7. So because it is remaining thing, 7. So exactly at P1, so here I will write, sorry, at P0 P1 has entered. So what happens at first time? New process will come whose name is P2. So how many processes has arrived so far? Only 2, that's a P1 and P2. Among P1 and P2, P1 at this moment I am telling, at this moment, okay, let me change the color. So here right now I am explaining at this moment. I have to compare two things, P1 whose value is 7 and P2 whose value is 4. Who is the shortest among 4 and 7? Among 4 and 7, P2 is shortest. So I will write here P2. Why I will not continue P2? Why I am not sure P2 will be here, 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 like that, or P1 will come? I am not sure because there is something is arriving at this stage. See here, you can see at this stage something is arriving. Who is that? P3. So P3 has arrived. P3 has arrived. So what is its burst time? It is 9. Okay, so meanwhile what you have completed at previously, P2 you have completed, hence P2, how much time you have completed is 1 time. 4 out of 4, 1 is finished, so 3 is remaining. So at this moment I have to compare 3 things, because 2 are partially executed and 1 is recently arrived. What are those? 7, 3, 9. So among this, who is smaller? Whether 7 is smaller, 3 is smaller, or 9 is smaller? 3 is smaller. 3 corresponds to which process? P2. Hence I will write here P2. So luckily 2 times continuously P2 has executed. Hope it is clear. 2 times continuously P2 has executed. So I don't know what is going to happen here. So I will change the color to the orange. So here is what the case. Let me take it some other blue. Okay. So here is one more interesting discussion. At third time, this time, who is the newly arriving process? At third, who is newly arriving? P4. So here I will write it as P4. Okay, if I write it as a P4, with what expectation it arrived is fine. So now all processes has arrived. Okay, so all processes has arrived, and also we have finished out of 4, 2 times P2 we have finished, hence I will change this to 2. 1 time P1 we have processed, hence it remains as 7. So I write now here P1 is 7, P2 is 2, P3 is 9, and P4 is 5. Okay, at this time all processes are 3 processes already entered and new process also entered. Among these, who is smaller? Among these, who is smaller? At this case, P2 is smaller. So I will continue P2 one more time. At this time, there is an important point. At 4th, any new process arrives? Any new process arrives? No. So henceforth, it's a shortest job method. Up to this, it's a shortest remaining. Henceforth, it is shortest job. So who is shortest now? P2. So here 3 times we have finished P2. How much time is remaining? One more time P2 I will continue. So what happened for P2? It has been stopped. So at what time it stopped? 5th. At what time it started? 1st. Okay, I write here with a new brush, thick brush later. Okay, fine. Next, after P2, so I will squash this P2. What is remaining now? P1 with a 7, P3 with a 9, P4 with a 5. Hope it is clear now. So who is smaller? P4 is smaller. So I will take here P4. So from 5, how much time I have to continue? From 5 to 5, another 5. 5 to 6, 6 to 7, 7 to 8, 8 to 9, 9 to 10. Here I will put one thick line. So what I should call it as 10. Okay, so here we have completed P4 also. So I will cancel this P4. Next, so at this stage, as I mentioned, once your all the process has arrived, after that it's a SJF method, shortest job first. So P2 and P4 are completed. Now which is shortest? P1 has 7 and P3 has 9. So I will load it for P1. If I load it for P1, I have to continue for next 7 seconds. So if I continue it for 7 seconds, it will become 17. Okay, so then P1 is done. So last is what? P3. So P3 for 9. 17 plus 9 is 26. Okay. Okay. So at 26 all processes completed. Let's calculate now waiting time of each. So waiting time of process 1, here I will write, I am writing for waiting time, process 1, process 2, process 3 and process 4. So now we are discussing for process 1. So process 1 has executed in, see here is the task. So it has executed in 2 different steps, here one and this section one more. Okay, so fine. Okay, so now when it entered, what was the first execution time? First execution time, nothing. So first time it has not suffered any delay, so 0. Okay, next, when it entered second time it has suffered a total amount of 10, but in the 10 already one time P1 is executed. Okay, so I have to subtract that. So what it is going to be? 9. Okay, so fine. So that is what waiting time of P1. So now comes P2. P2 has, see here, P2 has got at first time. Okay, so P2 has got for first second of the time. Okay, but even though we feel with respect to Gantt chart it has waited for 1 second, but what is its arrival time? It has approached at first time only, means 1 second. It got execution at 1 second, it arrived at 1 second, hence it has not felt any of the delay. You can see here it entered, immediately it got a execution. You can see this path, it entered and immediately it got a execution, so no waiting time. And also it is not split up, it doesn't have any split up like P1. Okay, so fine. What is the waiting time for P3? Okay, listen carefully. So when P3 has entered, P3 entered at time interval 2, this line, time interval 2. Okay, but when it got a slot, here you can see this gap, 17 minus 2. So here I write 17 minus 2. Why minus it is? Because it arrived at 2 seconds. Gantt chart tells us with respect to 0, but its arrival itself is not on the time 0, hence it came late, it waited less, hence it is a 15. Okay, now fine. So what is P4? P4. So when P4 has executed, P4 executed is here. Okay. So P4 execution started at 5, but when it has entered at 3rd. So it waited only for 2 seconds of a time. How? It started execution at 5, but it has arrived at 3, hence it is 2. Hope it is clear now. So average waiting time, average WT is equal to 9 plus 0 plus 15 plus 2. So whole divided by 4. 9 plus 15, 24. 24 plus 2, 26. 26 whole divided by 4. 6 4s are 24. 2 is remaining, 4.5. Okay, sorry, 6.5, because 4 into 6, 24. 6.5 is the average waiting time. Is it clear now? So this is what for the shortest remaining first. Okay, I will pause here and I will take up one more problem with a new algorithm. Okay, so the next problem is here. Okay, so here the word priority that indicates rank. So there is a rank 1 process. Okay, here rank 1 process, rank 2 process, 3, 4, 5th. So if I take a Gantt chart with the 0, first always give it for rank 1. What is the name of process for rank 1? It's a P2. So what is its burst time? 1. So here assume the coordinates, this side x and this side y. So P2 started at 0 and it will end at 1 somewhere here. Why? Because it needs only 1. Next, what is the second rank? 2. Okay, second rank. What is the name of process? P5. So here I write P5. How much time? 5. So if it starts at 1, when it will end? Plus 5. So this much should be plus 5. So from the reference, okay, 0. From present reference it is plus 5. So total reference is what? 6. Here I will write it as 6 for the Yeah, like this. 6 is a next. Second rank is done. What is third rank? P1. So here is a P1. So what should be the time slice we should give for it? It's a 10. Starting at 6, ending at 10, hence it will reach 16. I hope it is clear now. It will reach at 16, means end. So third rank is finished. Fourth rank P2, fourth rank P3. Here I will write P3. How much time it will take? 2 seconds. Starting at 16, ends at 18. Okay, so now that's a fourth rank. So fifth rank is what? P4. Fourth rank is P4 and its time is 1, hence starting at 9, ending at 90. Okay, so now I will clear this here. So let's calculate now the waiting time of each process. After that we will calculate a average waiting time. So we have 5 processes, P1, then P2, then P3, P4, and finally we have P5. So how to calculate a waiting time? Since it's a priority based, there is nothing called arrival time, just a concept of priority, so nothing to deduct. So fine. So P2 has 0 waiting time because as soon as it entered, so it got a execution. So P2 has no delays. What about P5? Here in the Gantt chart, P5, so it has a waiting time of 1. P5, because its priority was 2, so we selected second. So third priority is P1, so it started at 6. Hence P1 waiting time is 6. Okay, so 6. P3 started at 16, hence P3's waiting time is 16. So P4 started at 18th second, hence 18 is the waiting time of P4. So average waiting time is equal to 6 plus 0 plus 16 plus 18 plus 1, which is equal to 6 plus 0s, this is 22, 22 plus 8, 30, 40, 41 whole divided by 5, somewhere around 8.2 units. So unit here is milliseconds. So this is how the priority scheduling algorithm. So I will pause here for a while and I will take one more last algorithm, that's a round robin scheduling algorithm. Okay, here the first problem which we have solved using FCFS, the same problem we will solve using round robin technique. So in the round robin technique they will give one more data called time slice. So time slice means standard time. Okay, so what we have to do is every work we have to execute only for this much amount of time. After that we have to think which process we have to execute. Okay, so now you see I will put up a Gantt chart, so hope you can easily understand this. Here is the Gantt chart. As I mentioned, this is a X and Y axis. So this is X axis, which is a time zone. Okay, so this is Y of noise, so 0. So what happens? First P1 process will come, and now this is important. So what is given by this time slice? So that means we have to divide this time axis exactly by 4 for every time. Okay, but not all the time doing with 4 is correct. I will show why. Okay, so let me give first analysis. Okay, sorry. So what happens, P1 process I have selected, it has a total of 24. In that first time 4 units I will execute, it left with the 20 more. So up to what it will executed, P1 executed up to 4 seconds. Next, what is P2? Here I will take it for P2. We can execute up to 4 seconds. I repeat, we can execute up to 4 seconds, but what P2 require is only 3 seconds. So what happens, even though slice is I can execute up to 4, since the process is smaller, it will finish by 7th second. It will finish by 7th second. Okay, so next, so that is completion of P2 from the queue. So what we left now, P3. So again I will execute P3 for the first time, and this is also executing, this is not utilizing full slot given. It will execute for lesser time, up to what, 10, because it needs a 3, 7 plus 3 is 10. So next, what is remaining? So remaining thing is what here, 20 units of P1 is remaining. So now what I do, 10 to 14 I will execute a P1. Again 14, okay, what is remaining then? 16 is remaining. Okay, 14 to 18 again I will execute P1, so 12 is remaining. 18 to 22 I will execute P1 because no other processes are pending, so 8 is remaining. Okay, so 22 to 26 P1 I will execute, so another 4 is remaining. So what is last here? 4 is required and 4 is available, hence by the end 30, so P1 finishes its execution. So P1 completion done. Also P1, P2, P3 already completed. P2 and P3 already completed. Okay, now so let us write waiting times of P1 and P2 and P3. So I hope you can easily write P2 and P3 waiting time. What is P2 waiting time? 4. And P3 waiting time 7. Okay, so now how to calculate a P1 waiting time? See here, this slot, which I will put it as a flower bracket, P1 is complete. So if we take only this much, total waiting time is what? 10. Okay, so this slot. But do we have P1 executed any of the previous section? Yes, here where I am making a circle. So how much time it has executed? It has executed for 4. Out of this slot, what is remaining here, up from here to here, so already there is a slot which is utilized by itself. Itself means P1 itself, this much. So what is the new weight? New weight is this much, so which is going to be 6, so 6. Hence average waiting time equal to 6 plus 4, okay, plus 7, which is equal to 17 divided by 3. Little more than 5, because 3 5s are 15, hence 5 divided by, I think 6.6 milliseconds. This is how to calculate the average waiting time in round robin. Okay, fine. So in the previous okay, what all the algorithms we have studied? FCFS, one problem. Then we have studied SJF, shortest job first. then we have studied shortest remaining time. Okay, so then we have studied preemptive methods using priority. Okay, using priority, and last one is round robin. Okay, among these concepts, definitely you will get a question. My choice is, preference will be shortest remaining first and also the round robin. These two are the very important concepts. Okay, fine. Thank you.